In the hustle and bustle of modern life, every morning begins with a race. Shops open, deals are made, prices rise, hearts pound, and minds grow weary. In our pursuit of everything, we often lose the one thing that matters most: peace. Today's entrepreneur, employee, or businessman has become more a slave to deadlines than a seeker of purpose. Bank accounts may grow, but the soul quietly withers. Fear of failure, pressure to compete, burdens of debt, and the endless hunger for more, these have become the cornerstones of our so-called success. Man has become a machine, but his heart still longs to feel. But pause for a moment. Was there ever a time when business brought blessing? When hearts found peace even amidst trade? Yes, that time existed, when a man walked the dusty streets of Makkah with calm resolve, honest dealings, and unmatched integrity. His name was Muhammad. He traded but never lied. He earned profit but never sold his soul. In every transaction there was a deeper purpose, the pleasure of Allah. He was known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, not for his wealth, but for the purity of his conduct. People didn't just buy goods from him, they bought confidence, sincerity, and truth. In an era when deceit was common and justice was rare, he stood out like the moon in a dark night. His business was not just a source of income, but a vehicle for character. While others measured success by numbers, he measured it by the peace it brought to the heart. When he spoke, clients listened not just to the words, but to the truth behind them. He never pressured a customer, never exaggerated a product, and never manipulated a sale. Yet his trade flourished because his honesty was worth more than gold. Compare that to today, where our minds are enslaved by targets, our calendars packed, our hearts anxious, and our smiles fake. We climb ladders of success, but the higher we go, the more we fear falling. The Prophet taught us another way. He taught us that sustenance is written, that risk comes with contentment, and that real richness is not in assets, but in the richness of the soul. He taught us that you don't need to be the richest to be the most fulfilled. You just need to be true to your Lord and fair to his creation. In his business, the Prophet showed us balance between dunya and deen, between effort and reliance on Allah, between ambition and contentment. He worked hard, yes, but he didn't worship his work. He woke up with the name of Allah on his lips and slept with peace in his heart. He faced losses, but never lost hope. He faced rejection, but never compromised truth. His trade was not just external, it was internal. It was a mirror of who he was. Today our lives are filled with noise, but empty of meaning. We run faster, but arrive nowhere. We earn more, but spend our peace. The Sunnah of Muhammad reminds us that work is not meant to destroy us. It is meant to uplift us. The trade is not supposed to steal your time from your family or your soul from your heart. He showed us that when work becomes worship, it carries Barakah, divine blessing, even in little. If we return to his example, truthfulness, integrity, justice, and reliance on Allah, we wouldn't need to chase peace. Peace would come to us. Business would no longer be a battlefield, but a bridge between people. Life would no longer be a competition, but a collaboration. And the stress we carry like chains around our hearts would slowly melt into contentment, gratitude, and faith. You see, we were not created to live in anxiety. We were created to know Allah even through our work. The Prophet didn't teach us to abandon the world, but to live in it with purpose, to sell, to trade, to earn, but never to forget who truly provides. And in this is the secret. The one who remembers Allah while working never works alone. The one who keeps his heart connected to the divine never feels the loneliness of ambition. So when you rise in the morning for work, don't just prepare your briefcase, prepare your soul. Don't just check the market, check your intentions. Don't just plan your profits, plan your prayers. Because your sustenance isn't just in your hands, it's in His. And no matter how heavy the pressure becomes, know this: the prophet walked that path before you, and his footsteps still echo with peace. In a world full of noise, be the silence. In a market full of deception, be the truth. And in a life full of stress, walk with the calm of the prophet, for in his example lies the balance we've been desperately searching for. And still, as the world races ahead with artificial intelligence, algorithms, digital currencies, and global markets, the heart of the human remains as fragile as ever. No matter how advanced our systems become, our souls still crave the same things: trust, kindness, honesty, peace. And that is where the prophetic model outshines all models. For it was not built on efficiency alone, but on ethics. The Prophet Muhammad taught us that success without ethics is not success at all, it's just a decorated failure. We often measure business by graphs, charts, and KPIs. But in the time of the Prophet, the metrics were different. He measured with sincerity, with fairness, with how much peace it brought to the buyer, not just the seller. He never treated wealth as a god, but as a means, a tool to help others, to give, to uplift. His wealth never blinded his heart, and his heart never forgot the poor. He was a merchant, but never materialistic. He was a leader, but always humble. And how did he deal with stress, with loss, with uncertainty? He turned to prayer. He turned to silence. He would wake before dawn, raise his hands to the sky, and whisper words that carried more power than all the gold in the world. "O Allah, make halal provision sufficient for me, and keep me away from haram and debt." When business slowed, he didn't fall into despair. When people slandered him or rejected his trade, he didn't resort to revenge. He remained steady-rooted like a mountain in tawakkul, in absolute trust in the divine plan. And that is what we are missing today. Not money, but meaning. Not profits, but purpose. Our calendars are full, but our hearts are empty. We keep pushing, performing, pretending. But at night, when we finally put our phones down and stare into the darkness, we know something's wrong. That's when the teachings of the prophet come like a soft breeze in a suffocating room, reminding us that life is more than hustle, and peace is more than a vacation. He taught that Barakah, divine increase, doesn't come from more hours, but from more sincerity, from earning clean, from spending wisely, from giving generously. He lived simply, dressed modestly, and yet he was the most content of all people. His smile was sincere, not sponsored. His peace was real, not rented. He didn't have a personal brand, he had personal integrity. In a world that teaches us to fake it till you make it, the prophet teaches us, be real and trust that Allah will make it for you. In a time when burnout is worn as a badge of honor, he showed us that rest is not laziness, it's wisdom. That your worth is not in your busyness, but in your balance. He had time for children. He sat with the poor. He listened without rushing. He gave without waiting. And we say the same. Or are we so trapped in our ambitions that we've forgotten to live? So what if we redefine success? What if we started our day not with notifications, but with Bismillah? What if we treated clients like family, not numbers? What if we brought Rahma, mercy, into our contracts, and Ikhlas, sincerity, into our meetings? Wouldn't the world be softer? Wouldn't business be more blessed? Imagine a world where businesses closed for Friday prayer, not just out of duty, but out of love. Where CEOs gave charity before bonuses. Where deadlines respected dinner with family. Where marketing didn't manipulate, but uplifted. This world is not a fantasy, it's a forgotten Sunnah. A way of life that once changed the harshest deserts into centers of mercy. And it can return if we return, not to the past, but to the principles that shaped it. The path of the Prophet is not a memory, it is a map. A map that leads us not only to success in dunya, but tranquility in both worlds. So the next time your heart races from the pressure of bills, goals, or clients' pause, breathe. Remember the one who smiled in the face of loss, who shared even in scarcity, who worked but never worried because his heart knew the one who provides. You're not alone. The journey is hard, but the guidance is clear. Follow the footsteps of the most successful man to ever walk this earth, not because he was rich, but because he was real. Not because he had power, but because he had peace. And that peace is still waiting for you.